I'm Dr. Keith Martin, the Executive Director of the Consortium of Universities for Global Health. So how do we save the planet? Well, let's find out.
We can save the planet by taking care of each other and taking care of our environment. If we do those two things, we will save our species, but also save our environment.
Things we can do to save our planet is be responsible consumers.
We can save the planet by firstly recognizing that global warming is an issue, that we have to take better care of the planet, that we have to consider health as an ecosystem, and agricultural health and animal welfare is just as much about human health as taking care of individuals.
How do we save the planet? I think each one of us has her or his responsibility to save the planet. I believe in personal stewardship and community stewardship and global stewardship. So individuals have responsibilities, and our carbon footprint should be much smaller than what we do. One time I estimated my carbon footprint as a family in the United States, and it's estimated that if every one person on the planet has the same footprint that I have, then we'll need 6 more Earth to sustain our life, and this should not be accepted. So I should shrink my carbon footprint, and the communities should do the same thing, cities should do the same things, and nations should do the same thing.
In order to save the planet, we all need to realize that the planet is, it's one planet, and that we need to merge all the forces to address the issues.
In order to save the planet, I think people really need to be mindful. I think one of the things we often get caught up in our daily lives and our work and our priorities, and we sometimes forget that priorities should be our planet as well, that are actually priorities for our own health and our own livelihoods. So taking mind to really prioritize the health of everyone, ourselves and our planet, will help with planetary health.
To save the planet, we have to diagnose the problems that we face and then to put into action a management plan for how we address those diagnoses. We know what the threats are, we know what to do, and we've got one generation, 20 years, to get our act together to do it. It's our responsibility, so let's go to it.
I think the first thing is to raise awareness and make sure that science is behind what happens. We're in a world of fake truths and post-truths, and that is not helping at all. I mean, we still have important governments and important people who challenge the very notion of environmental change. And the first step for me is to convince the whole population, even those who are hard to convince, and to take into account also to tackle the economic interests that profit from environmental degradation.
I think we first need to realize, each one of us need to realize that it must be saved, that it is very sick. If you do not realize you are sick, you are not going to do anything about it. So my first thing was this, that we must all stand together and say, do we have a problem? And what are we going to do about it?
How can we save the planet? That's a very good question. I think obviously climate change is right up front, biodiversity and concerns about that, where I think we're really also need to be, as we heard earlier this week, are we really facing the collapse of our civilization as we know it? And are we, even more importantly, are we on the cusp of the 6th extinction? And I think that's something we all need to take very seriously.
By working together.